Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here once again with some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today I've got a match for you between two Korean Grandmasters. Starting in the upper left-hand spawn position, we have got our blue Terran player, ST Bomber, and his opponent down over here in the lower right-hand spawn position is our purple Protoss player, TSL ValuE. So this is going to be a Terran versus Protoss, two Korean Grandmasters here on the map Ohana. And now let me give you some information. Starting down over here in the lower right-hand spawn position, again, our purple Protoss, TSL ValuE. ValuE is currently the 45th ranked Grandmaster on the Korean ladder with 83 wins and 62 losses, giving him a 57.24% win ratio. And his opponent over here in the upper left-hand spawn position is our blue Terran player, ST Bomber. Bomber is the 48th ranked Grandmaster with 87 wins and 61 losses, giving him a 58.78% win ratio. So this should be an exciting matchup here. Looking forward to getting another Terran versus Protoss underway, and I'm just about to slap myself in the face here because I just realized not too long ago I promised you guys I'd bring you out some mirror matchups, and I don't think I've delivered since I've stated that. So here it is right now. I'm letting you know that mirror matchups are coming up. We're going to start throwing some more of those into the channel. The primary reason that I haven't really done a lot of those is they just don't seem as interesting for the viewer. I think that the diversity between two races playing against each other makes things a little bit more interesting for the viewer, and as a result, just viewership is lower on a lot of mirror matchups, just kind of across the board. That's just my opinion, but if people really want to see it, you know, I'll come out with a few mirror matchups sometime soon, and we'll see how people receive it, if they like it, if they think it's boring. And I know the StarCraft purist will be like, it doesn't matter, but to me it matters because this channel, this gaming channel, is all about entertainment, and I want to make sure that the vast majority of my viewers are entertained with whatever I come out with. So yeah, it's important that you guys like what I'm producing. Anyways, let's jump right into the game. We will be seeing a 1-Rax expand here from Bomber. Now, we did get that probe scout from ValuE up into the main, and he did see the lack of refineries in that 1-Rax building, so he's pretty much guaranteed right now that there's a 1-Rax expand coming from Bomber, although this isn't something that he's scouted out yet. As you can see here, continue to dance around with his probe. He hasn't actually physically scouted that expansion. We're going to see if he's going to try to sneak his way back in there at some point. We do have a Marine guarding the front, so Bomber should be safe against that secondary scout, at least until we see a Stalker come through. And there is one building right now. SCV hugging the corner inside of the base there and trying to hide himself, but actually gets spotted by the pylon. The question is, did ValuE see that? Was he paying attention to his main at that point? Was he paying attention to the minimap? Right now, that SCV is hidden, though, and there it is. ValuE moves up, scouts the SCV, places the pylon down just to keep eyes on it. He's going to want to engage that because what I'm assuming here Bomber's doing is he's trying to use this for secondary scouting. But unfortunately, that's not going to get done. Tries to move in, get what vision he can, but he didn't actually spot the expansion, which is now building down over here for ValuE. Bunker up in the front of that ramp into the natural expansion for Bomber is going to protect him against the Stalker pressure that's coming right now. And the follow-up here, which is what Bomber was trying to hide to scout, he wanted to see if there was going to be a robo, if there were additional gateways, exactly what he was dealing with. But once more, luckily for ValuE, was able to scout that out and prevent that from happening. It is going to be 2 more gateways for now. You may be seeing some 3-gate pressure here from ValuE, certainly possible. It's going to be difficult moving up to this ramp, though, especially with that sight advantage that Bomber is going to get. And he's got that extra range advantage while he is in that bunker as well for those Marines, which again makes it so that the Stalkers are very ineffective at pushing against this. Leaves the bunker right as the Stalkers move up. Talk about bad timing, huh? But he only got a couple shots off and slightly injured a Marine, but that is pretty much it. Now ValuE is going to chill here for a moment, try to contain Bomber a little bit, stop him from moving out at all. He's going to kill off this supply depot. No, this is not his supply depot. That is an innate supply depot that is just placed there on the map to stop Protoss players from walling off Zerg players, which is something you used to see a lot of, actually. When I just remember when people first started doing that. I think it was in the beta. You would see fast forge, and then you would see just pylon walls followed up by cannons, and it was hilarious. Obviously very frustrating for the Zerg player to deal with, but it was hilarious to watch. And it's those kind of early aggression tactics that I really miss from the game, because you don't quite see stuff like that anymore, at least not as often. I don't see much of it in the games that I commentate. But it's also why I'm really excited for Heart of the Swarm, because I'm excited to start to see those kind of weird, funky early game builds. I mean, you guys remember like the Mass Marine SCV All-In and all sorts of fun stuff like that. Early game Reapers from Terran players. Just the prevalence of the 4-gate, which pretty much no longer exists at high level play. I don't remember the last time I saw a 1-base 4-gate from a Protoss player. Alright, we're going to see some weapons level 1 upgrades coming out here for ValuE. Also now getting his robotics facility, so immediately we should be seeing that observer. That's going to be chrono boosted out so they can make his way up into Bomber's base to get some scouting done. Speaking of Bomber's base, seeing pretty standard stuff here. Starport coming through, reactor building on the factory, which will allow for that hot swap. And then there are 3 racks coming out, of course, with Marines and Marauders. Stimpack research going through, another tech lab and reactor also being built. Bomber just sitting Marine heavy at the moment, but we're going to start to see some Marauders come on through here. Also the level 1 weapons upgrades coming up for Bomber. So again, very standard stuff. Bomber with a depot on the edge of his base. This is going to allow him to see if any warp prisms try to fly on into the main to do some drop harass. Although it doesn't look like we'll be seeing that at all. Now we do have an Immortal coming through, but most importantly a robotics bay is being built right now here. And this is of course going to allow ValuE to work his way up into some Colossus tech. Proxy pylon tucked away over there. Probe also situated right here. We'll see what he decides to do with that. Doesn't look like any aggression's coming anytime soon from ValuE, as he is just going to try to work his way up to Colossus and sit on these 2 bases for now. But we should be seeing a push sometime soon here from Bomber. Just salvaged the bunker there. The reason I'm assuming this is happening is because this is very standard. Medivacs come out, you've got Marines and Marauders, push. See what you can do. You can drop. He can just kind of try to push the front here with the natural expansion. He's got all sorts of opportunities. Also a factory scout moving out right now. The observer scout has checked the main base, spotted everything. 2 more barracks building right there. Transition for ValuE also into a Twilight Council. Should likely be getting Blink Stalkers. And this would also allow him to transition into High Templar if he deems it necessary. Again, we do have a Bomber at least moving to the center of the map. It's going to be difficult there with that Colossus in play already, plus those few sentries for force fields. Really, the possibility of him pushing up into this natural seems very unlikely right now. He could still try some drop harass in the main, but we do have Stalkers to try to deal with that. Even some cannon action to deal with that. There's the Templar Archive, so ValuE going to be going for a healthy mix here of Colossus and High Templar. And he has actually stopped Colossus production right now, just sitting at the 1. Charge Zealot before Blink research, really. The reason I expected Blink is it's very, very effective at dealing with drops and sniping down those medevacs as well. Blink Stalkers aren't really doing too much against the bio, except for Blink back micro, but it's not like you go Stalker heavy against Marine Marauder anyways, because Marauders just tear through those Stalkers. But again, I just assumed the Blink to deal with drops, but I guess that is not the case, as ValuE with the cannon and the Stalker spread here in this main will contend with drops that way. And all those talk about drops and no drops are even happening, so.
Ready to blunder.
Factory scout for Bomber landed over here, and this is going to help delay this 3rd placement. It will also tell Bomber when that 3rd is happening. 4 Vikings in play, 6 Vikings in play, which is a little bit of overkill considering we do only have 1 Colossus out. But that is not something that Bomber is actually even aware of. He doesn't know how many Colossus are in play. All he knows is that he spotted a Robotics Bay and just is assuming there's going to be more than 1, but with just the 1, he'll be sitting a little too Viking heavy here. Might even be forced to land it during that first engagement. Bomber now will be forced to lift off the factory, but now at least he knows that a 3rd is being taken. Do have an expansion coming out over here for Bomber, which ValuE is going to be able to harass. Warping in a few Zealots over there seems very likely. Factory Scout makes it away before it starts burning, which is actually really good because he can continue to use that. But here comes a push finally from Bomber, moving forward with his bio. He's sitting at 0-1 upgrades. The armor level 1 coming through. Forces the cancel, so already slight victory there for him. Now pushing forward, needs to be careful about those storms on his clumped up bio. That hurt. A High Templar coming from up high, managed to land some storms there. Bomber landing on the high ground. Not looking good for Bomber at all. Looks like he is actually being overwhelmed over here. Now he does have a kind of a drop going on as the Vikings landing back here trying to kill off. However, those warped in zealots are going to manage to take care of that. And ValuE defends against the push. However, do remember that he was forced to cancel this expansion. And we do have Bomber now with this up and running. We're working to saturate that. Should expect a few SCVs to transfer on over. And that is actually going to be an orbital, huh? Wouldn't have been surprised if we saw a planetary. There are the zealots getting warped in there from the pylon. Trying to do some damage. These Marines. And now that the Marauders there should be all set. Oh, there's the charge. Uh-oh. Got another engagement going down over here. Bile stimming back, trying to stay away. Zealots are still alive, and they're going to go to town on those mules there. Looks like Bomber has decided to pull back, and wow. And a few kills there. 4 kills with that one, 3 with that. Tries to get the last SCV. He gets it. Now finally the charged zealot gets taken out. Nice small little aggression there. He only dumped 200 resources into that, and he killed off a few SCVs. Whoa. Okay, never mind. It was only 2 SCVs, but he killed off a few mules. That's where the big advantage was. Plus, he killed those what was it, 3 or 4 Marines and a Marauder. So I would say those 2 zealots definitely paid off there for ValuE in harassing that expansion. But still, nevertheless, ValuE is behind economically. You can see the advantage there going to Bomber as ValuE is trying to work slight little back and forth on the gas, but the big mineral advantage to Bomb right now is ValuE is trying to finally get up that third. We keep checking the vision here. Want to see if there are any drops or counter harass. That pylon was dealt with, so we're not going to be seeing anything like that anytime soon. I don't know if we have a warp prism through. He does have a warp prism out, so let's see what he decides to do with that. Now that is just sitting with the army right now, but here it goes. Is he going to move out with that, or is he just using it to load up High Templar? Now he's got 3 High Templar and a Zealot. What are you doing exactly? I don't know. So I was thinking it's either going to be some drop harass, or he's just loading up the High Templar. And the reason you load up the High Templar is to avoid energy loss from the EMP. That's the idea behind that. So what's going to happen is an engagement moves forward. The Warp Prism is able to, after Ghost land the MP, then drop the High Templars for storms. And it looks like that's what he's doing. I'm just confused as to why there's a Zealot in there instead of a 4th High Templar. Maybe so that when he does drop, if he's near Ghost, the Zealot can engage them. That's kind of my only thought behind that, but who knows? We'll see. Push coming forward here from a Bomber. He's actually moving into the 4th expansion position. Ooh, never mind. Continues to work his way towards the middle. Take out that Zealot. Looks like we might be seeing another engagement right now. So there it is. We're going to see that High Templar action that I was talking about. Ooh, sniped. That gets taken out pretty quickly. Pylon over here is going to be warping in some Zealots to push towards his 3rd. Again, since that's not a planetary, very vulnerable to these types of engagements. Here comes another push right now. He needs to be wary with that War Prism as well against the Vikings there. That's another concern. And here come the Zealots. Starting to do some economic damage, taking advantage of the fact that Bomber is pulling back to deal with these Zealots. We're going to see ValuE continue to chase. And here we go. Catches some units out of position. He gets hit with an EMP over here. Still has the Warp Prism. Lands at least one storm there. And the Zealots continue to push back the bio. Boy. Pulling off SCVs. Able to defend against that. Took some damage. Let's take a look at the resources lost here. Bomber's quite a bit behind. Look at that, 11,000 as opposed to 7,400 resources lost so far this game. So Bomber really needs to step it up here. Now he did have that economic advantage from getting that expansion out earlier, but has also taken quite a bit more losses in these last few engagements. ValuE now working his way up into the 4th base. The factory from Bomber, again, going to be delaying the placement of this expansion. He's going to move forward to swoop up and try to deal with that there. I'm surprised he hasn't even attempted any drops, though. That's the one thing I'm a little bit concerned about, or just baffled, that he hasn't even attempted any drops. Now, ValuE does have some drop defense. He's got that Stalker, the High Templar to go ahead and land a storm on Marines and Marauders that may drop, but also to feed back the medevacs to try to take them out of the sky. finding that proxy pylon. Bomber takes that out, is going to prevent any further Zealot harass from this at this expansion. And Bomber now pushing forward again. So, I mean, Bomber's been the aggressor the last 2 times, moving forward towards the center of the map, but still he's taken some pretty big losses as a result of that. Here we go, another engagement moving forward. Here the High Templar landing the storms. Zealot's also continuing to chase back this bio. Trying to get in a little bit of a choke there to stop those Zealots from swooping around his bio, and actually did a decent job of holding off there. He's going to be able to snipe down the Colossus very close. Oh my gosh. There we go, Colossus finally gets taken out, and Bomber now will be able to chase back this army. Still behind, though, in terms of the number of resources that he's lost this game. Look at that, 17,000 to 13,000. We do have that 4th base up and now running here for ValuE. So ValuE, a little bit of a switcheroo from what we saw last time. He's going to start to get a stronger economy now that he's got this up. Still have to account for mules, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a mineral advantage, yeah. Bomber does have a mineral advantage. It's still kind of back and forth, but once this gets saturated, I expect to see ValuE start to take the lead economically. More and more bio coming through. Let's take another look at the upgrades here. 2-3 for Bomber. ValuE is 3-3 with 1 shield and 2 shields coming through. We're going to see Bomber move forward again. Is he going to be able to take this position, though? That's the big question. Can he take out that 4th? A lot of Archons in play, which is good. They avoid that concussive shell slow, so that allows them to continue to push forward against that bio. Are seeing some more Colossus also come out. I do wonder what the Viking count looks like. I see 3 here. There's 6 in play, though. And there we go. A couple more over there. Oh, we got a little bit of Zealot harass over here, doing some damage. Oh boy, that's a pain in the butt. Look at that. I mean, Bomber pushes back with pretty much his entire army just to deal with that. Just a little bit of Zealot harass. You can see how frustrating that can be. Bomber landing his 4th base right over here. And yeah, right now, not a whole lot going on for either player. Both players just continuing to macro up at this point. Bomber did scout out to see if there was an expansion in this position, which there is not. So many Archons, my gosh. So many Archons. Another War Prism loaded up with High Templar. ValuE been doing a pretty good job with that, allowing him to land some EMPs. Oh, the Vikings, though, take out the full War Prism. That was a big loss there for ValuE. Full War Prism with 4 High Templar in it. 4 High Templar full of energy as well, so misses out on that. More Zealots coming over here. I'm assuming getting warped in from that proxy pylon, so actually forcing all the SCVs off the line in that position. But here comes a push from Bomber, now moving towards the 4th of ValuE. Vikings leading the way. Picking off these Colossus one at a time, and here we go. Now he's got no choice but to engage in this position. Moving forward, doing what he can. The bio's in a pretty good spot, though. And no storms yet. There's a storm, keeping everything at bay for a little bit, but it's going to be tough. More Zealots getting warped in to help defend over here. Still got quite a few Archons. And where are the... There's still Zealot harass going on. There's no mining at that expansion. That really hurts Bomber right now. Look at that. His economy is shot. He doesn't even have any Vespene being mined right now. That is really awful. Small bit of Zealot harass. You can see how devastating that can be when you don't have planetaries up. Now orbitals are certainly... There's certainly a good reason to get orbitals, those extra mules and a lot of extra minerals, but man, oh man, just a few Zealots can really ruin your day. Another push moving forward. Gets the EMP on a big chunk of the army there. The Archons are going to continue to move forward, and there's so much splash damage from those Archons in Colossus right now. The bio's taking pretty significant hits. And he continues to push him back. Bomber in a tough spot. There's the GG. What a game. Alright, my friends, that does it in this game between Bomber and ValuE. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this commentary. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more SC2 commentary, gaming, news, and videos, and all that great stuff right here on the channel. Thanks again, guys. Keep watching and keep owning.